Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Form a critical opinion of. How do you evaluate this grant proposal? Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Pronounce judgment on. Form a critical opinion of. I cannot judge some works of modern art. An authority who is able to estimate worth or quality. Put on trial or hear a case and sit as the judge at the trial of. The judge tried both father and son in separate trials. A public official authorized to decide questions brought before a court of justice. Determine the result of a competition. Form a critical opinion of. We shouldn't pass judgment on other people. Consider in a comprehensive way. He appraised the situation carefully before acting. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. I will have the family jewels appraised by a professional. Set or determine the amount of a payment such as a fine. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. Charge a person or a property with a payment, such as a tax or a fine. Estimate the value of property for taxation. Our house hasn't been assessed in years. A statute in draft before it becomes law. How much there is or how many there are of something that you can quantify. A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. They set the measure for all subsequent work. Any maneuver made as part of progress toward a goal. The situation called for strong measures. Determine the measurements of something or somebody, take measurements of. The act or process of assigning numbers to phenomena according to a rule. The measurements were carefully done. Express as a number or measure or quantity. Prosody. The accent in a metrical foot of verse. Measuring instrument having a sequence of marks at regular intervals, used as a reference in making measurements. Musical notation for a repeating pattern of musical beats. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. A container of some standard capacity that is used to obtain fixed amounts of a substance. Have certain dimensions. This table surfaces measures 20 inches by 36 inches. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. Regard highly. Think much of. Music. The relative duration of a musical note. Hold dear. Estimate the value of. The amount of money or goods or services that is considered to be a fair equivalent for something else. He tried to estimate the value of the produce at normal prices. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. An ideal accepted by some individual or group. He has old-fashioned values. A numerical quantity measured or assigned or computed. The value assigned was 16 milliseconds. Fix or determine the value of. Assign a value to. Value the jewelry and artwork in the estate. Relative darkness or lightness of a color. I establish the colors and principal values by organizing the painting into 3 values: dark, medium and light. The quality, positive or negative, that renders something desirable or valuable. The Shakespearean Shylock is of dubious value in the modern world. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. I think he is very smart. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. I can't think what her last name was. Have in mind as a purpose. She didn't think to harm me. Expect, believe, or suppose. He didn't think to find her in the kitchen. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. I've been thinking all day and getting nowhere. An instance of deliberate thinking. I need to give it a good think. Bring into a given condition by mental preoccupation. Decide by pondering, reasoning, or reflecting. Can you think what to do next? Dispose the mind in a certain way. Do you really think so? Focus one's attention on a certain state. Think thin. Have or formulate in the mind. Think good thoughts. Imagine or visualize. Just think you could be rich one day. Ponder. Reflect on, or reason about. Be capable of conscious thought. Man is the only creature that thinks. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Consider carefully and deeply. Reflect upon. Turn over in one's mind. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Judge to be probable. An essay or article that gives a critical evaluation, as of a book or play. A serious examination and judgment of something. Appraise critically. Please critique this performance. Announce publicly or officially. The president declared war. Declare to be. She was declared incompetent. Authorize payments of. Declare dividends. Designate, a trump suit or no trump, with the final bid of a hand. Make a declaration, of dutiable goods, to a customs official. Do you have anything to declare? Proclaim one's support, sympathy, or opinion for or against. His wife declared at once for moving to the West Coast. State emphatically and authoritatively. He declared that he needed more money to carry out the task he was charged with. State firmly. He declared that he was innocent. Deem wrong or inappropriate. I disapprove of her child-rearing methods. Consider bad or wrong. Make an effort or attempt. The infant had essayed a few wobbly steps. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. An analytic or interpretive literary composition. A tentative attempt. Judge to be probable. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. An estimate of what it would cost. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. I estimate this chicken to weigh 3 pounds. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. Many factors are involved in any estimate of human life. The respect with which a person is held. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. A statement indicating the likely cost of some job. He got an estimate from the car repair shop. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. Observe, check out, and look over carefully or inspect. The customs agent examined the baggage. Consider in detail and subject to an analysis in order to discover essential features or meaning. Question or examine thoroughly and closely. Question closely. Regard something as probable or likely. The meteorologists are expecting rain for tomorrow. Consider obligatory. Request and expect. I expect my students to arrive in time for their lessons. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. We were expecting a visit from our relatives. Be pregnant with. They are expecting another child in January. Consider reasonable or due. I'm expecting a full explanation as to why these files were destroyed. Look forward to the birth of a child. She is expecting in March. Disappoint, prove undependable to, abandon, forsake. His sense of smell failed him this time. Be unsuccessful. Where do today's public schools fail? Fail to do something. Leave something undone. She failed to notice that her child was no longer in his crib. Stop operating or functioning. The engine failed on the way to town. Prove insufficient. The water supply for the town failed after a long drought. Fail to get a passing grade. She studied hard but failed nevertheless. Fall short in what is expected. She failed in her obligations as a good daughter-in-law. Get worse. Judge unacceptable. The teacher failed 6 students. Be unable. I fail to understand your motives. Become bankrupt or insolvent. Fail financially and close. A number of banks failed that year. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. Predict in advance. Judge to be probable. A prediction about how something, as the weather, will develop. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Assign a rank or rating to. Assign a grade or rank to, according to one's evaluation. Grade tests. The height of the ground on which something stands. The base of the tower was below grade. A number or letter indicating quality, especially of a student's performance. Grade a milk. A degree of ablaut. A body of students who are taught together. 1/100th of a right angle. A relative position or degree of value in a graded group. Lumber of the highest grade. A position on a scale of intensity or amount or quality. A moderate grade of intelligence. A variety of cattle produced by crossbreeding with a superior breed. Determine the grade of or assign a grade to. Level to the right gradient. The gradient of a slope or road or other surface. The road had a steep grade. Give an affirmative reply to. Respond favorably to. I cannot accept your invitation. Be designed to hold or take. Tolerate or accommodate oneself to. I shall have to accept these unpleasant working conditions. Admit into a group or community. Accept students for graduate study. Take on as one's own the expenses or debts of another person. All accept the charges. Make use of or accept for some purpose. Receive willingly something given or offered. Please accept my present. Be sexually responsive to, used of a female domesticated mammal. The cow accepted the bull. Consider or hold as true. I cannot accept the dogma of this church. React favorably to. Consider right and proper. People did not accept atonal music at that time. Receive, a report, officially, as from a committee. Be capable of holding or containing. The flask holds 1 gallon. Be pertinent or relevant or applicable. This theory holds for all irrational numbers. Have or possess, either in a concrete or an abstract sense. She holds a master's degree from Harvard. Be the physical support of, carry the weight of. The beam holds up the roof. Resist or confront with resistance. A state of being confined, usually for a short time. The prisoner is on hold. Lessen the intensity of, temper, hold in restraint, hold or keep within limits. Hold your tongue. Drink alcohol without showing ill effects. He can hold his liquor. Cause to stop. Have room for, hold without crowding. The auditorium can't hold more than 500 people. Time during which some action is awaited. He ordered a hold in the action. Have or hold in one's hands or grip. A crazy idea took hold of him. organize or be responsible for. Hold a reception. The appendage to an object that is designed to be held in order to use or move it. Be valid, applicable, or true. This theory still holds. Protect against a challenge or attack. Maintain a theory, thoughts, or feelings. To close within bounds, or otherwise limit or deprive of free movement. This holds the local until the express passengers change trains. Keep in mind or convey as a conviction or view. Hold these truths to be self-evident. The space in a ship or aircraft for storing cargo. Have rightfully. Of rights, titles, and offices. Contain or hold. Have within. The canteen holds fresh water. Bind by an obligation. Cause to be indebted. I'll hold you by your promise. A cell in a jail or prison. Be in accord. Be in agreement. I hold with those who say life is sacred. The act of grasping. She kept a firm hold on the railing. Secure and keep for possible future use or application. Cause to continue in a certain state, position, or activity. E.g., keep clean. Hold in place. Support or hold in a certain manner. She holds her head high. Declare to be. Understanding of the nature or meaning or quality or magnitude of something. Arrange for and reserve something for someone else in advance. Please hold a table at Maxim's. Aim, point, or direct. Assert or affirm. Rousseau's philosophy holds that people are inherently good. A stronghold. Cover as for protection against noise or smell. Hold one's nose. Have as a major characteristic. The novel holds many surprises. Hold the attention of. She can hold an audience spellbound. Keep from departing. Keep from exhaling or expelling. Hold your breath. Power by which something or someone is affected or dominated. He has a hold over them. Remain committed to. I hold to these ideas. Remain in a certain state, position, or condition. Stop dealing with. Hold all calls to the President's office while he is in a meeting. Take and maintain control over, often by violent means. Attribute or credit to. People impute great cleverness to cats. Attribute, responsibility or fault, to a cause or source. The teacher imputed the student's failure to his nervousness. Regard something as probable or likely. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Be excited or anxious about. Act in advance of. Deal with ahead of time. Realize beforehand. Be a forerunner of or occur earlier than. This composition anticipates Impressionism. Trying something to find out about it. Any standardized procedure for measuring sensitivity or memory or intelligence or aptitude or personality, etc. The test was standardized on a large sample of students. A set of questions or exercises evaluating skill or knowledge. When the test was stolen, the professor had to make a new set of questions. Test or examine for the presence of disease or infection. Examine someone's knowledge of something. The teacher tests us every week. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. The act of testing something. The act of undergoing testing. He survived the great test of battle. Achieve a certain score or rating on a test. She tested high on the LSAT and was admitted to all the good law schools. A hard outer covering as of some amoebas and sea urchins. Determine the presence or properties of a substance. Show a certain characteristic when tested. He tested positive for HIV. Undergo a test. She doesn't test well. Usually plural, the status or rank or office of a Christian clergyman in an ecclesiastical hierarchy. Assign a rank or rating to. A commercial document used to request someone to supply something in return for payment and providing specifications and quantities. IBM received an order for 100 computers. A group of person living under a religious rule. The Order of Saint Benedict. Give instructions to or direct somebody to do something with authority. She ordered him to do the shopping. Appoint to a clerical posts. Issue commands or orders for. A degree in a continuum of size or quantity. It was on the order of a mile. A condition of regular or proper arrangement. He put his desk in order. A body of rules followed by an assembly. A legally binding command or decision entered on the court record, as if issued by a court or judge. A friend in New Mexico said that the order caused no trouble out there. Arrange thoughts, ideas, temporal events. The act of putting things in a sequential arrangement. There were mistakes in the ordering of items on the list. A formal association of people with similar interests. Men from the fraternal order will staff the soup kitchen today. Logical or comprehensible arrangement of separate elements. We shall consider these questions in the inverse order of their presentation. Bring into conformity with rules or principles or usage. Impose regulations. Architecture. One of original three styles of Greek architecture distinguished by the type of column and entablature used or a style developed from the original three by the Romans. A request for something to be made, supplied, or served. I gave the waiter my order. Biology. Taxonomic group containing one or more families. Bring order to or into. Established customary state, especially of society. Order ruled in the streets. Make a request for something. Order a work stoppage. Often plural, a command given by a superior, e.g., a military or law enforcement officer, that must be obeyed. The British ships dropped anchor and waited for orders from London. Place in a certain order. Order the photos chronologically. Move past. A black limousine passed by when she looked out the window. Eliminate from the body. Grant authorization or clearance for. A usually brief attempt. Success in satisfying a test or requirement. His future depended on his passing that test. Come to pass. Of advancing the ball by throwing it. A team with a good passing attack. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. A document indicating permission to do something without restrictions. The media representatives had special passes. Cuz to pass. She passed around the plates. Be superior or better than some standard. Transmit information. Pass along the good news. Go unchallenged. Be approved. Pass over, across, or through. Place into the hands or custody of. Sports. The act of throwing the ball to another member of your team. The pass was fumbled. Pass into a specified state or condition. Make laws, bills, etc. or bring into effect by legislation. They passed the amendment. A difficult juncture. A pretty pass. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. A permit to enter or leave a military installation. He had to show his pass in order to get out. Pass by. A bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Travel past. The sports car passed all the trucks. Disappear gradually. The pain eventually passed off. American football. A play that involves one player throwing the ball to a teammate. The coach sent in a passing play on 3rd and long. Baseball. An advance to first base by a batter who receives 4 balls. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. We got through the pass before it started to snow. An automatic advance to the next round in a tournament without playing an opponent. Go successfully through a test or a selection process. She passed the New Jersey bar exam and can practice law now. Be inherited by. Use up a period of time in a specific way. Any authorization to pass or go somewhere. The pass to visit had a strict time limit. Accept or judge as acceptable. The teacher passed the student although he was weak. A complimentary ticket. The star got passes for his family. A flight or run by an aircraft over a target. The plane turned to make a second pass. Allow to go without comment or censure. The insult passed as if unnoticed. Go across or through. We passed the point where the police car had parked. Military, a written leave of absence. He had a pass for 3 days. One complete cycle of operations, as by a computer. It was not possible to complete the computation in a single pass. Throw, a ball, to another player. Smith passed. Transfer to another, of rights or property. Our house passed under his official control. Declare to be.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.